Hello there. Welcome to my beautiful studio. Welcome to another yoga practice in this beautiful month of March where we're thinking about clearing out the old stuff. Now, my garden's just out there, and before I can plant anything, I have to pull out the old dead stuff. So we're going to have a practice that is all about svādhyāya, which is a term in yoga that means self-study. Now, in order to clear out, we have to look within and say, you know what? That is not working for me anymore. And we get curious about what's going on within us, maybe in our heart and in our emotions, but also in our body. So as we practice today, we're going to get curious about maybe using a chair, maybe using yoga blocks, that we don't have to subscribe to the idea that more is better, and that we can really learn that getting curious and listening to our own inner wisdom and looking within in a self-study way, we can adjust our yoga practice. Now, if you've been hanging out with me a while, you know, I've had 6 hip surgeries, so my practice has become very different. So we're going to come into a nice sequence that I like to open up the back of the body, that whole posterior chain. So hamstrings, lower back, inner thighs, and then really talk about how we can change a familiar shape that we've all done if we're practicing yoga for a while, and make it accessible to the changes that our bodies go through as we're healing from an injury or we're aging or whatever. So I have a chair. I also have 2 little chihuahuas running around, so they may make an appearance, but we're just going to come to a simple sequence. Now, you can always expand this. Let this be part of your practice. Let this be your practice. And remember, we don't have to have a 60-minute yoga practice. Showing up on the mat or the chair, 10 minutes is plenty. So I'm going to take my feet nice and wide. We're going to open up the chest to start. So I'm going to open up my arms and look up towards the ceiling. Oof. And then as I exhale, I'm going to wrap my arms around an imaginary beach ball, pulling my belly in. Inhale to expand. Exhale to round. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Doesn't that feel so nice? 1 more inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Wrap your arms around your chest. Now, this is a version of a somatic hug, and this is really good for the nervous system. So hand on the shoulders, elbows towards the sternum, and squeeze. This sends a message to the nervous system that you are safe, that you are calm, that all is well. Open up big. And then wrap the opposite way and squeeze super tight. Fantastic. Now I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. I'm going to locate that hip crease where the hip flexor is, just around the pelvis. I'm going to shoot my backside towards the back wall, stretching the hamstrings, just coming to a 90-degree bend. Use my core to bring up. Now let's add the breath. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge, feel the stretch. Self-study is noticing. Inhale to rise. 2 more times. Exhale, feel the stretch. Inhale to rise. Now you go as far as it's good for you, because that's part of getting curious about your own body. And then come on up. Now I have a chair nearby, just because I want to show you how you can use a chair to get into a familiar shape. I'm not going to have a chair on this side, so I'll show you both. So we're going to turn our right toes to the right and keep your hips square to me. Now, this might be problematic if we have an injury. We want to let this left hip sag. So you're going to be intentional here. Again, looking within the body. Where do you feel this? I'm constantly putting my hands on my body to feel where my pelvis is, where my shoulders are, where my hips are. It's just part of the process. Take your right knee and bend it, keeping the hips square, and extend your right arm long. Now we're going to reach with the right arm and then straighten the right leg. Now watch this. We're going to bend the right knee as we reach the right arm high. Reach with the right, straighten the right. Inhale, bend and reach. Exhale, reach and straighten. Inhale, bend and reach. Exhale, bend and lengthen. 1 more. Inhale, bend and reach. Exhale, straighten. Now reach, reach, reach. I'm going to lower my right hand onto the seat of the chair. Pull the left shoulder back. Now you can have your right hand down here by your calf or your thigh, maybe the floor. I'm going to use the chair and then pull the left shoulder back. You should have sensation in your right leg, a nice stretch. That's the self-study piece. Asking yourself, where do I feel it and where can I adjust? I'm going to keep my hand on the chair, bend my right knee a bunch. Notice that the left shoulder is still really pulled back and open. Bring the left arm up and bring the left bicep by the ear. This is side angle. Now with the chair, it feels delightful. Without the chair, I'd be straining a little bit. Straighten the right leg, keep the arms where they're at. Feel that through the left hip, left side body. Bend the right. Straighten the right. Feel that? Just getting curious. One more time. Bend and straighten. Use your breath. Inhale to rise. Isn't that fantastic? Right toes forward. Left toes towards the short end of your mat. Locate your pelvis. Hips square to me. Now, because my left hip is the problematic hip, it wants to roll inward. So I have to be very intentional with keeping it open. If I experience a lot of pain, then I'm just going to back off. But that's that getting aware of us. Now, if I was still practicing the way I was 10 years ago, I would be coming really deep into the left leg and I would not be listening to the language my body was speaking, probably causing harm. Boy, have I learned. So here we go. Left knee's going to bend. Now, mine will not bend as much as yours, likely. That's okay. And then I'm going to straighten it mindfully and bend it. Let's add that left arm. Reach and straighten. Here we go. Bend it and reach the left arm high. We'll breathe on that. And then exhale, straighten and reach. Inhale, bend and lengthen. Exhale, straighten and reach. One more. Inhale, bend and lengthen. Exhale, straighten and reach. Now I'm going to take my left hand down. I don't have a chair on this side, so I'm just going to show you. I just have it next to my left leg. If I go further, look what happened to my alignment. That's not where we want to be. We want to be back. So right arm is back, shoulder is back. Now take the right arm high, reach it over the head. You should feel a beautiful side body stretch. Now bend the left. Keep the arms the same. Straighten the left. Bend and straighten. One more. This side looks very different, but that's okay. That is the changes that my body has made. Inhale to rise and exhale to lower. So I've had to look within. And that has been a whole other process spiritually and emotionally. But how it's changed my yoga practice is I move slower. I don't go as far. And I'm constantly listening to what my body says. Now, here's a beautiful pose that I used to be able to do in its full form, but that too has changed. So I have my blocks close because I like blocks. I'm going to turn my right toes just out slightly, and I'm going to come into a deep bend with my hands on the block on the right side. So I'm feeling a nice stretch through my left hamstring, my low back. And then I'm going to rise up, turn my left toes. Hands will find the left side block. Oh, beautiful. Inhale to rise. You have to push. Use your core. Exhale and bend. Now, back in the day, I could come all the way down and I could just shift this way, right? But now I use blocks to keep myself grounded and to not take it too far. Now, I could use my hands at heart center and just go back and forth. But when I do that without support, I feel unstable in my left hip. Let's go one more time. Right. It's called Skandasana. It looks very different these days, but that's okay. Now walk your blocks in, straighten your legs, and just rest your hands on the blocks. If you're not using the blocks, your hands will be on the floor. I find I get a better stretch through my back and through my hamstrings if I use the blocks. If I'm here, I collapse through the spine and I just don't feel it. So push the tailbone back. Arms are nice and straight. Let's add the twist. Left hand is going to stay. Right hand is going to reach. It's beautiful. Nice sensation through the backside. Take an inhale. Exhale to lower. Right hand stays down. Left arm reaches. Now you certainly could do this with your chair in front if you want to just use a chair. One more time each side. Left goes down. Inhale. Right arm goes high. Exhale, lower it. Inhale, left goes high. Hi, Rosie. And exhale, lower. Beautiful. Take that halfway left tailbone to the back side. Turn your toes, heel and toe in and in. So you're not as wide. And inhale to rise. Now that short sequence is a lot of that posterior chain. So we're thinking low back all the way down the hamstrings into the calves. Those muscles get very tight if you are a walker or a runner, or if you are a person that sits too much. So be sure to do that. Now, the last few things we're going to do is I'm going to turn towards the short edge of my mat. I'm actually going to turn towards the chair because I like using a chair as well. And you can use a chair or a kitchen sink or a sofa or yoga blocks, anything you want to do. So we're going to come into a half sun salutation, really emphasizing the halfway lift to get into that hamstring area and the glutes. So I'm going to reach up, big breath in, eyes go up, and then take your hips forward and extend the heart up. So I have a little back bend. See that slight extension? Take a breath while we're here. And then exhale, fold over yourself, hands to blocks, a chair, maybe the floor. I'm going to use the chair and I'm going to come up halfway and really accentuate the hamstring. So notice I'm in a 90 degree. I look like a letter L or a number 7. If my hands were on the floor, because of my injury, I'm not able to get that flat spine anymore. If I have yoga blocks, better. But if I use a chair, the best. Now that feels good in my body. I'm going to let go of the chair and I'm going to roll the spine up to stand. Now we're going to do that 3 times. So pick which you want to practice, the floor, the blocks, hey Rosie, or the chair. And that's a beautiful way to really focus on here. Now here's where svādhyāya comes in. The self-study. Certainly, if we look at the cover of the yoga magazine, we'll see probably not a lot of props. People who practice and are probably younger than me really have that ability to touch the floor and keep the form. I'm over it. I'm over it. And I have injuries and I'm healing and life is different. And that's part of the svādhyāya. If we're comparing ourselves to what we see in images, and we're self-criticism, we practice self-criticism, we are not living the yogic lifestyle. And svādhyāya says, become curious about yourself, make adjustments in your daily life and adjustments in your practice. 3 times. Here we go. Inhale to rise. Big breath. Exhale, forward fold. Hands find whatever. Inhale, lengthen everything. Exhale, fold, release the chair or the blocks. Inhale to rise. 2 more. Inhale, up we go. Exhale, down we go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Really think about hamstrings. Inhale to rise. Exhale, turn your palms. Inhale up, last time. Exhale, forward fold. Accentuate, make it big, straighten. Exhale, fold. And then slowly rise up. As we are in the month of March, and we are clearing out things. Remember my first video, we were clearing out energy. We were moving all the old winter sluggishness. Now we start to get a little deeper within ourselves and think, what is it in me that might be getting in the way of my growth? Pull it out. I talked about disappointment being part of my life. Pull out the disappointment so that I can make space to grow something beautiful. But you have to practice svādhyāya in order to know what it is that is a pattern that keeps showing up for you that's preventing growth. Pull it out. Locate it, practice svādhyāya, get curious, and then pull it out. Because in April, we are going to make some beautiful growth in our hearts. So that's what I have for you. I've got Timber, the Chihuahua, Rosie's hanging around, my two teaching aides, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Be sure to subscribe, comment, share, do whatever, but stay in touch because that's part of the magic is building community. I will see y'all real soon. Bye.